Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Welcome to our discussions. Hope all is well there, and you have been studying and working on mine closure and sustainability planning. By now we are in the middle of the course, and I hope you have already started taking up those learning activities, and you are having some good fun with studying this subject. Today we will be talking about on this asset management and mine closure, because the last class I told you about that this how with ISO 55000 we do an asset management. That means we are knowing that at the end of the mining life that what are the assets there. But certainly the land and then whatever the remaining infrastructures are assets at that time, and you want to dispose, you can, or certain things will be decommissioning. But what's next? On that there is a concept of this brownfield redevelopment. So we are talking about today the brownfield redevelopment and value addition to assets, that whatever you are having there at the end of the mine, we will need to add values to it. So our today's discussions will be this brownfield redevelopment. Now what is a brownfield? Brownfield, this is a terminology which were developed I think from 1970s. People started thinking about this, how the environmental restorations and all will be coming, but later on there were terms were coined from the greenfield development. Normally a greenfield is called as a virgin field. As a antonym for this, opposite to greenfield, they are telling it as a brownfield. So in a brownfield, which is exactly any property or any of that expansion of that is ready for redevelopment or reuse, that is exactly called as a brownfield. Normally this terminology, and this is in the real estate industry, where there is already some dilapidated plant, or this is exactly some old factory, they get damaged and it is there in a main city area. So that area, it becomes a very lucrative for the real estate business, because certain things which are in a dilapidated and damaged conditions, they can buy at a very low price and then do that redevelopment, and then they can sell at a higher price. That was the beginning. But today the brownfield redevelopment is used for any industrial estate or any plants when it is life is over. At that time, how it will be restored to add values to it is called your brownfield redevelopment. As you can see in this figure, it is just a pictorial figure, it is not things like that, because in a coal mining area the mining will be always in a damaged conditions. So there the site has got a very, its aesthetic is very poor, then everywhere it looks like black and dirty. There how you can make it that after mining, whatever be the challenges lying over there because of maybe acid mine drainage, maybe that is your low stability dumps, or that is poor stability dumps which are having a hazards of sliding. There could be pitch without having a fencing, having a risk for the animals or for the human also over there. So in that, post mining challenges need to be addressed by proper site investigation and then you need to make a site development plan. So, in this class we will be discussing what is this brownfield redevelopment means, and then you should be able to identify that what are the activities to be carried out, what type of research will have to be carried out, what type of investigations will have to be carried out for having a cleanup action and for developing new use. And to some extent this one you will be finding interest when you start thinking on waste to wealth, whatever the solid waste, liquid waste is remaining in the mine site, whether you can derive some wealth out of it, and which is in a bigger perspective you can think of what is called circular economy. So, I request you to read little bit more or search in the Google on circular economy and waste to wealth conversion techniques, and then mine site restoration. You will find what is exactly this terminology of brownfield redevelopment for closure or closed mine site. So, coming to this, that brownfield, it is, you have now understood that these are abandoned or underused industrial and commercial facilities with potential for reuse. So, this is the definition you can take, and this type of brownfields may be everywhere. In some places you may find that there were some old bus stand, there were some bus terminal, government transport systems were very active and you had some bus terminals, but later on this private bus services became more popular. Some of the state transport corporation bus stations are lying like that, that is a brownfield. You can also think of some of the workshops, some of the say for example, in the PWDs, public work departments of many state government, they were having a number of workshops for their dozers and road rollers, and those were maintained in the 60s, 70s in some of the workshops, small workshops in small towns. But later on the contract systems came in, and then many of those their government owned workshops are not in use. Those are brownfields. Similarly, in a mines, in the mine, even in the active mine there could be a brownfield, because earlier there had been the number of workshops and maintenance facilities were there. But from 90s on, from the early to 2001 to the outsourcing business came into the mining, and many of the old facilities by which the mining companies were self-sufficient, they have stopped working over there, and many of their workshops, many of their servicing facilities are now as a brownfield. So, that whenever we talk in a brownfield redevelopment, we can think of just a totally abandoned or a closed mine as a brownfield, or in a mines wherever there are certain things which are not being used at present are also brownfield. We can bring those things also in this thinking. Then expansion and redevelopment of such facilities may be complicated by real and perceived environmental contamination. This is one of the challenges, because if some abandoned site may be having very contaminating pollution level, maybe concentration may be very high, and there exactly they may be a lot of liabilities lying in reusing those systems. So, that need to be very well investigated. The land may be contaminated by low concentration of hazardous waste or pollution and has the potential to be reused once it is cleaned up. So, that is why the brownfield redevelopment is associated with a cleaned up actions. Now, that what is that redevelopment is then? The redevelopment is another opportunity to revive the lost glory of once flourishing area. The area may be once very business. Say for example, if we talk of the Kolar gold field or the Mosabani mines of Hindustan copper, they were one of the most glorified places. This Kolar gold field, that old Indian kings, they have produced lot of gold, and it was a very, very important place. Only when the British came, they increased the production rate, and then also it was producing good amount of gold from India. But afterwards, then when the concentration of gold came down, and then it has been closed, and at present it is lying as an abandoned and closed mine with no economic activities around. So an area to be reused or for useful purposes. What could be the useful purposes? How those say if you go to Raniganj coalfield, there you will find that number of more than 10, 20 maybe your mine shafts, you can see that all rusted mine shaft structure, maybe some wild creepers are wrapping around it. So that type of dilapidated site are available. Now how that can be reused? Then attribute to what the land has undergone to make humankind prosper. That is what exactly, that whenever we see those closed or abandoned mines in Raniganj coalfield or in your southeast WCL, what we see, those abandoned mine sites, they were exactly once contributed to the development of that region. For example, when you go to Lido Colliery, that now they have demolished a brick kiln of 1980s. There were brick kiln, and they were producing for about more than a century. This that type of kilns were producing bricks for building a that is making good houses in that area where many of the parts of the country were not at all developed. But thing is that those has been now totally damaged, the site has been damaged, and now everything, because mine is closed, all works are now gone. Now, but the site, it is lying without any economic activity. So that is a brownfield where some redevelopment can be carried out by bringing in some new innovative and creative uses, and for that this brownfield redevelopment activities will start. So the purpose of a brownfield redevelopment is to new developable land to be produced, ascertain the effect on the environment is going to be better, and evidences supporting the sense of urgency, that is, if there is a certain things dangerous, you need to find it out and then you take an urgent actions on it. So that is the purpose of a brownfield redevelopment. Then you aim at outlining the parameters of the relation to the environment. What are the parameters, or what are the factors that are exactly going to adversely affect it, and for that you will have to see that how that can be remediated and a better future can be obtained. So that is the aim. So that when you are to know the impact means what? You will have to be having a good chemistry, with good knowledge of chemistry to find out how the contaminants are going to affect. You will have to have a good biological knowledge, that is what type of that plants and animals can live over there, or you should have a little bit of knowledge of our human responses to those changes. At the same time, you will have to have the knowledge of engineering, so that how that site could be engineered to have a better conditions. So the objective is to post mining planning solution. That means after the mining, that whatever the site is left to it, you can add value to it by doing some re-engineering, which is a part of this brownfield redevelopment. And for that, because once the mine is closed, there is a society get destabilized, because their people lose their livelihood, their skill becomes no longer usable. If you are very good in doing a underground mining loader, your loading activities you are doing, but that your skill is no one will be now hiring you for doing that, because that business is closed. So their life, their society, that many get destabilized, or there could be a instability physically, geotechnical stability. You may be talking of the chemical stability, that means your contaminants are not retained in one place, it is migrating. So, those type of things will have to be taken, so that you are having a good social and physical system that will exactly give a proper technical support you will be generating in that area, so that the development continues. That means development sustains. That means for sustainable development, you will have to bring this brownfield redevelopment. I hope you have understood this. Then in the brownfield redevelopment, there are certain opportunities. Opportunities is because, as I said, that the property which is declared now as a brownfield has got less value. So, you can acquire it if you have money at a less investment. That is, but thing is that you will have to take that how much will be the cost for redevelopment. That will of course make it, but thing is that if we can have a system of the that is your shared benefit system, there we can have it. So, this is an opportunity for bringing a regional change can be brought through that. Then remaining infrastructures could be usable. That means when a mine is closed, because the mine was using definitely it has a colony, it has got building, it has got road, it has got the water supply and electricity infrastructure, those can be utilized. If you are going to bring that thing to a new site, it is a huge capital investment. So, you are saving that capital investment, and you can calculate it out with that capital. If you can reduce the risk of contamination and other hindrances and that is your other difficulties, then it could be an economic venture. Then community support may be available, because the people there, they have understood that a particular industry has got closed. Now, they by any means whatever comes to them, that they will be accepting. So, if you can give a good project plan, and if the society they can realize that yes, your intention is to serve them, then you will get that social license to your venture very easily. But while doing this, there are certain risks, because that the mining company who has done what is there exactly, how much damage they have done, and by the existing law of the land, what are their liabilities. So, that means if you are owning that site, but it is having a huge liability for restoration, for cleaning up, then you cannot alone do it, and because others have taken the cream of it and then the residue they have left. Now, why it will be? It is something like that, somebody comes and make a party in front of your house, and then your job is for a month you go on cleaning those garbages they have left. So, that type of liability definitely is not expected. So, it is a drawback of a brownfield, which may have many hidden liabilities that you have not seen. So, this risk you should be very carefully looked into. Then the cleanup, okay, you have such certain things, I will take the liability, I will get it clean up, but thing is that sometimes this cleanup, it may be very time consuming. So, whenever you are going to take a decision for acquiring a brownfield or doing a project on a brownfield, you need to properly characterize the site, you need to properly find out that what are the activities to be done for cleaning up, and then you can find out that is how much time will be there, and if you invest, that is until it is properly cleaned up, maybe your total return on the investment you are going to make may not get. So, that is why if the cleanup timing is a very long time, then your venture for developing or creating wealth may get affected. And then the other thing which is there, you will have to see how the finance will be coming. That risk is there with the arranging the finance. Now this finance could be whether you are going to, if you are taking, whether you can get a angel investor. That means that just like a startup, some of the startup funding you can get some activities over there, or you may look into the government policies to get it funded. So that what are the risks there, how much interest rate you will be getting, whether you will be able to get the return on that investment or not, that need to be calculated carefully. Because there, if you think of just a real estate one in that type of area where that you have got a land, but thing is that will there people going to buy over there the land? That is what exactly is a risk. So the stages of the brownfield redevelopment is done as one pre-development phase, then a development phase, and then the management phase. So that site which is exactly now available, you will have to do number of studies and planning with the pre-development. The pre-development maybe that is you will have to conduct a due diligence, taking all pros and cons, and then installing some of the scientific study, properly characterizing each and everything that we will have to do. And this will be through a detailed analysis. You will be collecting, we will be conducting an investigation, collecting sample, testing them, and then getting the data. You will have to find out by analysis if there are some major flaws in the system which may exactly will be very difficult for remediate. Then there should be how you have procured, what are the liability you have taken, what are the liabilities still remain with the people from which you have got, that need to be carefully looked into as a pre-development stage. And then you will have to have a systematically developed that which part one, which part first, which part second, what simultaneously, that your how will be exactly doing your that refinement of that site, or that your how will you design it, that is very, very important. And then the approval and permission systems of the government need to be checked whether you can get it or not. Then your that cleanup activities, whether for doing that cleanup activities the required material and resources are locally available there or not. And then also you will have to, as a pre-development, you will have to study the market provisions, that is whether the type of uses you are thinking of, whether it will be having a demand, people will be buying it or not, that you need to check. And then what will be the total complete constructions, and then to develop the whole project as a holistic manner, you must able to see, and then you prepare the total redevelopment plan. So doing this pre-development, at the pre-development state itself, you make a redevelopment plan, and there you identify the sources of fund and acquire the environmental insurance, that whenever you will be investing, things should not go, or then how you are going to exactly covering your financial risk, that will be necessary. Now once you have done this pre-development and you are going to prepare your redevelopment plan, then the development activities will start, where you will have to do certain activities. What is the legal framework of that site? What are the different permitting authority? And by that you will be developing, you will get all the necessary approval for the type of business you want to do. Now here few things need to be seen. That land of the mine which the mine acquired and they got a certain lease, now how he has surrendered that lease. Was it a lease taken from a forest land and it has been given to the forest, then the forest will be telling it can be developed only for forest. Now, there we need to see where in our forest law whether it is a harvestable forest or it will be have to have a perpetual to remain it as a forest. You can do anything over there, you will be just living like this. That need to be checked, and we will have to exactly make a value-added forest. You can create the one area, you can do this development plan that if it is, even if it is a forest land, the purposes of a forest, if it can be fulfilled, and at the same time some anthropogenic activities in that forest land can be made, then it will be there. Then there could be conduct of environmental cleanup and site preparation activities. You will have to conduct marketing and pre-leasing activities, then complete construction and open up this and then open the project. You are just taking the whole thing in the development phase, and then you manage. That means your project is opened up, you have started acting over there, and then you are the owner of the property now, and there you will have to all this your operation and maintenance work will be carried out, or after developing it you can sell it out. That is your job is over, somebody else will be buying from you and they will do the operation and maintenance, and then the buyer somebody, that means here everybody will have to go to a win-win situation. The buyer for his purpose he take it and he operates and maintains. So that's why that redevelopment plan which you have made in a pre-development stage, that is exactly determines how your brownfield is going to come. So this sustainable redevelopment plan that will integrate site assets and its limitations. Whatever is there everything will be integrated and incorporate the neighborhood features. What are the things available at in its neighborhood, maybe hill, maybe river, whatever is available, and then they will be addressing that how the society will be reacting to it, and whether the persons who may be coming over here, they will satisfy their market demands or not. Now, there in such a redevelopment plan will have to have certain very important regular feature, particularly the community engagement plan, that how you have considered that how the local people will be interacting in that project. Then site reuse vision, that means you will have to make a very good perspective plan, a 3D diagrams and all, you will be showing people that this is the plan. Once it is coming, that how the regulatory body will be controlling it, how the economic development will take place over there, how the real estate or the other business people will be making profit out of it. So a total vision should be presented in a very 3D perspective manner, you will be showing it. Then the redevelopment implementation strategy, you will have to give a step by step that this will be done first, if it is going there, this will be done. These are the precautions or the buffer taken. If this does not go in that way, this is the plan B also will be adopted over there. Everything is very clearly given. And then you also have a resource roadmap, that means how the public may be interacting with that, where from the finance will be coming, and then ultimately the potential fund sources that will make your project viable. So those things are taken in that trip plan. Now, if we are thinking now how to plan this brownfield redevelopment, this coming slides are from the work of Ditimani Barua, who did her MTech on this brownfield redevelopment for running on school field. That these steps exactly what they do, she did this aim and objectives were taken to prevent the minimize adverse long-term environmental and physical impacts, so that it should not have a lot of adverse effect after you do the redevelopment, and then create a stable landform suitable for alternative land use. That whatever way there will be heaps, dumps and pits and all, that those things will have to do a proper landform will have to be designed, so that it will become useful for other purposes. And then mapping of the existing coal belt, that means that whatever the other area is there, you make a proper that is your mapping activities, that you find out all the geographic features, the rivers, lakes, dumps, roads, power line and all that. Map development is a very, very important work in while planning this brownfield development. And then you find out the environmental impact, and that in environmental impact may be, as you know, that whether the dust, that is your how air pollution is coming, whether there is an acid rain is there, how the aerosol may be there, or the effect of the water, soil and what that again in the fauna and flora, how they are affected. Then what is this your particulate matter in the air, that is your fugitive dust, how it is going there. And then is there any ground disturbances, because it is a mining area, whether geologically it is becoming stable or it has got some problem, or there is a subsidence type of problems are there. This that you then, after knowing these ground disturbances, you will be doing the landform planning. In the landform planning, you will find out what are the visual scar, that is we always say this word mine scarred land, how it looks, aesthetics of that. And there you will be thinking of reclamations, because there will not be trees and all, so you will be bringing in vegetation and how you will reclaim the site. And then you will have to find out some new land use plan, and then that your land cover will have to be changed. So whether you can have a recreational site, a tourism site, a educational site, a physical that is your sports complex, that you can think for. And then you give a alteration to the whole landscape, and these operations can be done in different phases, that is your timeline for the future coal mine areas, what may be coming over there, and phase wise environmental hazard mapping, and in relation to the air, water, soil, what type of environmental hazard may come, you phase it out. And then proposal for the land use and landform need to be prepared, so that somebody can fund it. So your whole brownfield redevelopment plan in these 5 stages need to be carried out. And then this basically the aim and objectives are to converting the coal mine into a safe and stable condition, and that main objective is to suggest an appropriate land use and in relation to the environmental aspects. That is, to get that land use, you will have to restore the pre-mining conditions. You want to get how without when the before starting the mining there were a thick forest, suppose, then how it was there, how the villagers used to have agricultural land, the rivers and small rivulets, and they had a very good green life, and that has got changed. And now they may be having money, they have got the purchase power, but they have lost that the quality of life they had before mining. So what are the pre and post mining planning will have to be done for this disturbances are less. So that is also an aim and objective of developing a brownfield redevelopment. Develop appropriate land use and landform and solution for the coal mining areas. So this will be done in a different phases. So you can see here there could be an abandoned coal mine site. You have got this active mine area, you can see here this is your active mine area, and then you can have that is your abandoned. Earlier there were some mines over here, this color you can see is there. So and then some of the conversion back to nature, you can start doing your revegetations and reclamation. You can see that this old mine site is now changed to this. Then your mining activities are going in more areas, and the phase 3 you can find out that this has now become a good your reclaimed area. This whole area is reclaimed, and after that the whole site will be transforming to a final phase where different type of uses can be developed. Now to do that, what you will have to do, a land use and the landform will have to be designed. How that land could be done, that major issues is that you will have to have this coal mining, whether it is a surface mining or your underground mining, then your different stage, your extraction, your processing, and in the dispatch. This what goes on in the mining activities. The extraction phase, they have seen the geological aspects, they have seen the sensitivity of the zones and their visual scar. This can be, because what may happen, because of the mining activity, their river courses may be changed and they become dry. Then the people may be displaced from one place to another, their villages are destroyed, their topsoil is removed because mining activities, that whether the topsoils are properly preserved or not. Then the acid mine drainage may be there because of the SOx and NOx which are released from the foreign activities. And then the current land use is changed, that means your earlier forest or the agricultural land is no more there. So, and all these things also a different way in the mine site, we are more diesel exhausts and more that is deforestation. That's why it may be contributing to the global warming. During the processing phase, exactly, your contaminated water from the coal washing, your this emission of fumes and gases, generation of waste, this takes place. And there if the coal mines, you may have a coal mine methane may be there, and then underground there may be explosion probability, and then from the heaps also you may be having some that is your carved shells, and then some of them will be burning, and then they can be going on giving smoke with carbon dioxide, carbon monoxides, and a huge amount of overburden will be lying. So, in the mining operations, you will have to transport the mineral, you will have to, that is your after the washing, that your tailings will have to be tailings will have to be there stored in some places. Then those your tailing dams or the overburdens, they will have to be rendered safe, and there should not be dust nuisance because of the wind. So, in these cases what will happen, that when the dust go and they will be putting onto the leaf stomata will get blocked and the tree health will be reducing. And in some of the places, when the mining dust is fall on the topsoil, and then it becomes exactly the porosity get affected, the roots cannot go properly, the tree do not grow well. So, that type of things happen in the mining site. So, we will have to see that these operations these are the major issues to be handled when you are going to do a brownfield redevelopment. So, the surface mining, it is going to give a lot of ground disturbance, and then your job of the reclaiming is, after the mining, you are leaving the places like this, and in those places when you are restored, this will have to be made it green. As a pictorially, you can think of what is a brownfield redevelopment. This is the brownfield, and this brownfield has become now again a green, and that is how you will have to redevelop the things. So, there are many other aspects of there, that is your in the mining of that abandoned site, that migration of workers takes place, that is because they are all economy driven things. There are the inadequate land filling may be there, as you can see in this figure, that what happens exactly, you can from the mines, this is your coal may be having your sulfur, and that water leachate is all acidic water with pH value less than 3, 4 like that, and this acid mine drainage takes place. And then also there are the coal mines, they get by the spontaneous heating, they may be having fire. This is a common scene you can see in Raniganj or Jharia coal field. And then the people who are living, because of the subsidence, sometimes the building collapse like that, they get cracked, because the underground, if the sand stowing is not proper, that subsidence may take place. You can see here how above the coal mining area, how the agricultural field or the field, they get exactly a dint is forming. This is a subsidence that has taken place, and then lot of these ground disturbances are there. So, these things will have to be. Now, when a brownfield development, you will have to relocate, that you make arrangement for the society, for your workers, you will have to see that the underground voids are not there. So, it is a holistic lot of activities to be carried out. And then there are many researchers have worked on this, on the brownfield, particularly in the Michigan State University, our Central Pollution Control Board of India, CFRI, that is Central Mining and Fuel Research Institute, even in Illinois, even in Australian government, everybody, wherever you get a mining country, there are certain bodies are always concerned about developing this brownfield, and there you can see how that the redevelopment has taken place, and they have converted the sites to a better one. So, this is a Mishima mine in Papua New Guinea, which has become a green land after that mine is closed. So, there are still certain problem that Ditimani Barua, she did a lot of work on this brownfield redevelopment in the mining sites. Now, for that, what are the tools and techniques to be used? You should be aware of it, that government policies and legislation are the tools. Exactly, government takes care of the welfare, and in that it becomes a guideline, and taking over there you start your working, and then you will have to get the grants and loans for doing, and that your risk assessment will have to be done, and then your all the hazardous conditions will have to be removed, and for that you will have to follow that what will be the how you will be doing the mine closure planning. For that, different techniques will be there, whether that is the analysis, data analysis tool, your prediction tool, your optimization tool, your statistical analysis tool. Those, there are different tools and software and techniques will be used, and as we said earlier, that your remote sensing and geographic information system become a platform, and on that all other collateral study, your chemical analysis, your material characterizations, your financial analysis, those tools and techniques are applied, and then you do certain instrumentation by which you will be monitoring that how much exactly they say carbon dioxide is getting emitted in that area, whether how much methane is coming out in that area, whether the smokes or the temperature, how it is changing. So, those instrumentations are done, and after that we get the data, you start analyzing the things, and that is what how exactly you can see in West Virginia. This amphitheater was constructed by using this, it was before like that, a brownfield which has been developed with an amphitheater over here, a very good recreational and other purposes. This site, it is there in the West Virginia. Similarly, in an underground abandoned coal mine, there could be a lot of methane. That methane can be taken, and that can be used for the methane processing plant for generating electricity. So, from that coal mine, methane can be used for these purposes. This is also there. Now, there are many tasks and issues for this brownfield redevelopment, but you will have to have basic idea about that, what are the mining processes going on, what type of remedial measures can be there, and how your environment will be monitoring. So, this acid rain, your coal mine fire, your dust nuisance, these are the common things you will find in a brownfield, and while you are addressing that, you can create a business out of it. So, as a learning activity, please identify 5 areas of research required for success of brownfield development in mining areas. This is what you will have to do, and there your investigation and study can be at a micro level or macro level. At a macro level, you can think of what are the prevailing climatic conditions, and what do you mean by a stable landscape at a macro scale, or you can find out the size and shape of the site for consideration of the native plants and animal species, how you can put it over there. And in micro level, at a small areas, you will be finding out how the pH level, how the nutrient level of the soil, how exactly they are responding to different activities for restoration. So, this is in a nutshell. I have given you the whole broader concept, but when you are to take a activity, you will have to do a more scientific study and compartmentalize to your specific interests, and say for example, cleanup of heavy metal contamination that reduces soil productivity and sterilizes the soil altogether. It will have to be addressed in a brownfield redevelopment. You will have to do a lot of sampling and analysis to find out what it is there, and also you need to find out that how the runoff from that rainwater, how it exactly interacts in that site, how the soil erosion takes place, because in a mining area many that is a barren land is created, and they are very susceptible to get your by the rain splash, the erosion takes place and the materials get migrated from mining area to the other area, taking the contaminants to other good new virgin area also. So, also this you may find because of the heaps of overburden dump and lot of your exposed this soil, and there will be dust will be generated in the wind, may carry that dust, and then whole area air may be getting polluted. Then that's it is necessary that a good cooperative model in which environmental protection departments backs up and allows local companies, residents and government to work out a problem of their own and develop reuse values for the post mining lands and wastes. That means it will have to be a coordinated and cooperative way will have to work. A brownfield redevelopment will have to be brought up to the local self-government level. If it is a rural area, how the panchayat will be involved in the mining activities through their public hearing and with their permissions, how a local startup can be created, and that is the way how the brownfield redevelopment movement will have to come. And for that, India, what type of policy will have to be created, for that how much scientific support will have to be given in this area. Only your knowledge in the basic understanding and then implementing, that will be very, very essential. So, there are lot of works on this from the 70s onward. There had been people studying, but in the last 2 decades the brownfield redevelopment has become very popular in the oil field, in the manufacturing sector, in this wherever the business is getting closed, there this brownfield redevelopment things have started. There are already some books are there with the McGraw-Hill publications. They have got this book, Redeveloping Brownfield, a book of 2000. This book got published by Thomas H. Rush. You can read that, and also lot of websites are available. You please study that, and I hope this will give you a new area and new domain to develop your expertise. Thank you very much.